keep that in mind. Right. Um, how many hours of clinicals are generally in the LPN program? I think it's, I don't remember. There's a certain amount that they need to meet. I think the number may be 300 or 500. I'll have to go back and look it up. Texas, what about Texas? It's a very big state. I want to go to this school in Orlando. That's a Haitian woman owned 6-month LPN. Should I trust it? Based on that information, I can't give you an answer because I don't know anything about the school other than it has a Haitian owner. What does that have to do with anything? So you need to find out if they have certifications, where they're doing the clinicals. Has anyone passed the NCLEX? Is it approved by the Board of Nursing? These are some of the questions you need to be asking. Hi, first time here. I'm glad I came across you again. I'm glad that you're here today as well. Welcome, welcome in. And if you're just joining, welcome. My name is Larissa. I'm your favorite night nurse on this side of TikTok and Instagram and YouTube Live. And today we're going over the application process to nursing school as one of our free training. You have questions? If they can fit in the comments, you can put them. If you have questions, you can also send me an email as well. All right, or DM. I would prefer you guys DM me on Instagram because it's easier for me to send out the links. TikTok, work on that. Okay. Next things next, planning ahead. What does that look like? That looks like when you're doing your self assessment, you need to go back and reassess, right? How far is the school? How are you going to get there every day? What are the requirements to get into the particular programs that you're looking at, right? Where do you start, or how do you, if you're starting from today, what changes you need to make, right? You need to look for a job, right? For example, if you work banker's hours and you're looking, banker's hours meaning 9 to 5, and you're looking to get into an accelerated program, the two cannot coexist in the same universe. You can't be in two places at the same time. So accelerated programs keep bankers' hours. Okay, so that's what's going on in the plan ahead phase. Now, if you are in the midst of doing your prerequisites, put the number 3 in the comments. Put the number 3 in the comments if you're in the midst of doing your prerequisites. Okay. I'm going to school in my late 30s. Is it better to do prerequisites before the nursing program? You have to do the prerequisites before the nursing program, love. That's why it's prerequisite. I noticed there's SCNTs for entry with A and P included in the test. Okay, yes, that is true. Okay, Honey Dip Doll. Oh, I like that name. Okay, so Honey put her 3 down. Okay, so let's get into it. The following prerequisites are the most popular prerequisites to enter into anybody's nursing program. The first 2 are human anatomy 1 and 2, microbiology 1, human growth and development, chemistry for the health sciences. All right, anywhere from 3 to 6 credits of English, 3 to 6 credits of math. Some places may require statistics. Some place may require anywhere from 3 to 15 credits of electives, such as soft sciences, a language, or something like that. Depending on the state that you live in, for example, places like Texas, Arkansas, Oklahoma, Mississippi, those states may require state specific prerequisites that are related to government or that state's history. Okay. So when you're doing your planning ahead, these are things that you need to be on the lookout for. There are other schools that may require specific prerequisites pertaining to the school and its mission. For example, Felician College in New Jersey requires, I think, either 3 1 credit courses, or you pick one of the 3 1 credit courses, and it's related to something like divinity. It's a religious based type of school. Okay. Things to keep in mind about prerequisites. Prerequisites expire. Okay, science is typically 5 years, other courses anywhere from 7 to 10. So you need to keep yourself on a timeline. Back to that planning ahead. The best place to take the prerequisites, in my opinion, is your local community college. However, there are other places you can take prerequisites. For example, study.com, Sophia Learning, Portage, or Straight Aligner. Before you sign up and give these people their $99 a month or however much it costs now, you need to ensure that the school you're applying to accepts credits from these places. Don't go sign up and the school you're applying to does not accept their credits. That is on you. Okay. All right. Quick question. Get a diploma in RN from my country of origin. Attended school for 3 years. So what school will accept my diploma for a BSN program? Your previous degree needs to be evaluated by CGFNS. So you need to go to my website, theparkwoodproject.com, theparkwoodproject.com, or to make it easier, type in nightnurse305.com, nightnurse305.com, nightnurse305.com. And there's a page on there for international students. All the links that you need to get your degree validated and all that stuff is on there. What other things about prerequisites that I want to tell you? Oh, if it's been a while and the prerequisite has, it's old, they won't take it, you can always clip out. You go to collegeboard.org. There are review guides on there you can download, you can register for your test, and you can take an exam that covers the entirety of that class to replace the old expired grade. Okay. I would only suggest this if you knew you were going to get a good grade. Makes no sense you replace an old grade with a worse grade. That's going to work against you. Now, as far as human anatomy is concerned, this is the book that I recommend. Okay. And the reason why I recommend it is I remember 15 years ago, if not more, when I took human anatomy, the quizzes came similar to this. I doubt it was out of this book because this book, came out whenever. But whatever. It's not 15 years old, I don't think. It has the review. Okay, let me double back. Um, Human Anatomy 1 is mostly about what things are called. What is the correct medical terminology for things in the body and where they're located, right? Human Anatomy 2 is more about the function, right? How things work. And then pathophysiology is about when that function goes awry. The first part of the class is about naming things and locating things. This book helps with that, right? It gives fun facts throughout there. It uses all of the medical terminology. I am pretty sure, dollars to donuts, I'll probably bet you guys $100 that whatever class you take, they're going to have something similar to this in there. Because that's one of the best ways to teach it and for people to learn. So you can definitely check that out. All right. What else was I going to say about the prerequisites? I think that's it. If something else comes to me, I'll get back to it. Now, the entrance exam. How many people are in the process of preparing for the entrance exam? Put the number 4 in the comments. Put the number 4 in the comments if you're in the process of preparing to take the entrance exam. And if you're just joining, welcome. My name is Larissa. I'm your favorite night nurse on this side of TikTok. And today we're doing one of our free trainings where we go over the application process to nursing school. We answer all of your questions. All right. If you have a much longer question that can't fit in the comments, you can always send me an email at hello@nightnurse305.com. If you can't remember what I just said, there are numerous ways in the links in my bio for you to find it. Okay. Now, before we start, there's about 100 and so people in here. Let's go ahead and tap the screen and see if we can get to 5,000 likes. And let me tell you why I tell people to tap the screen and share the live. When we do these free trainings, it doubles as a networking event, right? You may have questions about particular schools, a test that's not very popular, people's experiences. It's best for you to connect with people. And I'm going to mention this again when we talk about researching schools, with people that have been there and done that already, right? I know a lot about quite a few schools, but I don't know every single nursing program in the country. You understand what I'm saying? I don't have a resource for every single entrance exam, but I do my best. However, when you tap the screen and the live gets sent out to more people, they'll get curious. And sometimes we have good Samaritans who come in, they just keep a listening ear. They may give some feedback in the comments as well, and then you get to connect with them. All right. On a side note, I need you guys to do this in general. You guys need to start connecting with people in real life that you're able to get information in case something happens to these sources that we use to communicate with each other. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? Okay. Which brings me to another thing. Inside the link in my bio, I have an email list. Those of you that are on the email list, I sent out a job. If you live in the New York State area, ACS is hiring. If you want to work for ACS, I will help you. If you have your resume put together, send me the resume and then we'll book a time to go over it. So if you live in New York and you're interested in working for ACS, go ahead and send me an email with your resume and I'll help you go over it. Lots of opportunities going on there. ACS, one of the last places that gives some sort of like pension if you put in the years. Good place to work. There's some challenges in there, but a good place to work to get your career started. All right. I think the starting salary is 110, 113 for BSN prepared nurses. So if you are on the email list and if you're inside of the library, I posted it in there as well. All right. Let's keep tapping the screen. Let's see if we can get up to 5,000 likes. 5,000 likes, y'all. Come on. And listen, The tapping of the screen means you hear me the first time, right? That you're validating that I'm giving you good information. What is an example of a school that you recommend looking into Florida? Well, Florida, honey, how many people live in the state of Florida? Florida is a big state, baby. You got to give me region. If I recommend University of North Florida, can you get there every day? If I recommend USF over in Tampa, can you get there every day? I'm looking for an online nursing school. Do you have any suggestions? There's a school that I like that I need to do a video about, and that school is University of Texas Arlington. I think they have one of the best online programs, in my opinion. In my opinion. I also like Arizona College, but the downside to that is very expensive. I think it's over $100,000 for the full degree, which I think is exorbitant. University of Arlington, Texas is a state school within Texas, so a little bit cheaper. But I like the way their program is set up from start to finish. Okay. Illinois, Batavia, or Oria area. I don't know that much about there. Indianapolis, Indiana State. I know the one program that I know that I did research on was Indiana State. They have a bridge program. They have an online bridge program. So I don't know where you fall. That was pretty highly rated. Do you think it's a good idea to start as a CNA and then moving on to doing a nursing? I think it's good for some people. Do you need to do it? No. Will it be helpful? Yes, and it'll be helpful in a couple of different ways. One, some places require that you are a CNA before you get into their program. Two, be working as a CNA will give you some ability, job. I'm sorry, some flexibility with working because you can work, per diem. You can work on the weekends. You can work nights. It also gives you exposure to the healthcare setting if that wasn't, if you weren't in there before, to help you shore up to see if you really want to do this thing. Okay. Tampa, Hillsborough, USF, and I believe they have a Galen out there as well. New, but Orleans, I don't know. I would have to look it up. All right, so let's talk about the entrance exams. All right, the following are the most popular entrance exams that will be needed in order to get into nursing school. You have TEAS and HESI are the most popular. There's also Wonderlic. There's also NACE. There's also NLN. There's also Kaplan. There's also NET. There's also Wonderlic. There's also Accuplacer. And I feel like I'm missing one other one. Kaplan. Okay. There are so many tests. I like Mometrics because I am 98% sure that they have a resource for each one of the things that I just mentioned. So as a brand, I think it's a good place to start to make sure you get the appropriate resources. Now, when it comes to these, thank you so much for the roses. When it comes to these tests, I'm sorry, the entrance exam, some schools may just make up the entrance exam. They're like, you know what? We want you to take HESI and the one we just came up. That's why you came up with. That's why you need to plan ahead. The other reason why you need to plan ahead when it comes to the entrance exam, if you're looking at 5 schools and 3 take HESI and the other 2 take TEAS, are you going to take both tests or are you going to cross those other 2 off the list? Okay. So these are some of the things that you need to look at. Now, the following that I'm going to mention is a bunch of people that can help you prepare for the HESI and TEAS, right? You can send me a DM. I think I may have taken the link out of my bio. All right, I'm going to put it back real quick so you can go and download it. Give me 1 second. Let me upload it so you can go there and download this link that I'm talking about because I just had too many things in there. And my analytics show that you guys don't do well with too many choices. All right, so I'm going to put back the link. It's probably going to be the bottom link. So if you click the Stand Store link in my bio, it's going to say crush the entrance exam. All right. So I put it back just for today so you can access it easily instead of going to dig around. All right. Inside of this link, all the people that I just mentioned and resources that I'm talking about are going to be in there. The reason why I'm telling you to go to the link because you're going to be like, oh, what'd you say? Who's this? Who's that? You're probably going to forget. This way, it's all laid out for you on a Google Drive. Okay. All right. The following people are people that I suggest that you follow and reach out to and explore their content in order to prepare and be well prepared to get a good grade on your TEAS and HESI. All right. The first person is Jakara Lewis. She's here on TikTok. She usually goes live late on in the night. She also have a slew of Instagram on YouTube videos. I think she may be on Instagram as well. I need to purchase her math book to review it as well. Okay. The next person is a lady by the name of Carolyn McAllister. She's over on YouTube. I don't even think that lady makes. Hopefully, she's still alive. I don't even think she makes YouTubes anymore, but her content is evergreen. If you struggle with the English portion, she's a great person for that. There's also Nurse Chung on YouTube. I think she does a really good job of breaking down. I think she focuses a little bit more on T's than Hesse, but she may also do Hesse as well. There's another guy on here. He's known as A&P Professor. If you switch to the STEM tab in your TikTok, he comes up there as well. There's another lady by the name of TK the Chemist. TK the Chemist, she does a really good job, and she goes live actually helping people work through the chemistry math problems. Remember, for nursing, you have to take chemistry for the health sciences. Not every program requires it, but a lot of them do. Okay. There's another lady on here that you should go and follow. Her name is T's Prep Expert, or Future RN Prep. If you type in Future RN Prep, Future RN Prep, I don't know if she's on Instagram. I know for sure she's on TikTok. This lady, I have yet to see somebody go to her lives in the Facebook group, all the other resources you have, and get less than an 80 on the T's. I have yet to see it. And if the person exists, come to the front and give your testimony. But I'm telling you, that lady is goated. She knows what she's doing. She knows how to teach. Dr. Amy Weinberg, she knows what she's doing. So if you're struggling specifically with the T's, go and seek her out. Okay. Now, like I said before, if you want to study on your own, I recommend Mometrics. The reason why I recommend Mometrics, because when you get the book, it's linked to a bunch of other resources, videos, and things of that nature. And if you can prove to them that you did everything, you followed the study plan and all of that, and you failed, they'll give you your money back for the book. Okay. There's also some other resources on YouTube that I like. Khan Academy. There's a new plugin for Khan Academy and ChatGPT. I'll get into that a little bit more later. But those are the resources. So if you go to the link in my bio, I put it there for Crush the Entrance Exam. Go ahead, download it. All right, it's in the Stand Store link. And that all of the things that I just talked about, it's going to be there as well. All right. So, and then I probably forgot a couple of people as well. Blair Moon said, "Can you make a video stating all these names and channels?" Yeah, sure. I'll do that. Let me write it down. Names and channels. What was this for? Oh, entrance exam video. Okay, sure. I think I did this before, but it's okay. I'll do it again. I think I may have did it before. I have to go and look, but then I've probably added some new people on there. Anyway, whatever. I'll make it again. What else was I going to say about the entrance exam? Entrance exam. I think that's it. If you have any questions, let me know. If I think of something, I'll come back to it. All right, moving forward, research in the schools. How many people are in the process of research in the schools? Put the number 5 in the comments. Number 5 in the comments. I have a DUI. I always wanted to be a nurse. Depending on the state that you're in, sometimes you can petition your governor to get that like sealed, removed. There's a specific term for it. I can't. It is escaping me right now. But depending on your state, it may not be a hindrance. Okay. Or if you in the cases where you cannot get it removed, if it's DUI, because remember DUI, in certain people use that interchangeably for alcohol versus substances. So if it's just related to the alcohol, I know there's certain instances you can write a letter, explanation, blah blah blah, and you keep that as you go along in the process as your explanation for why you have it on your record. It was alcohol. Okay. You can send a DM. She's a little busy now, but she would be the best person to put you on the right path. And it's advocates for nurses, advocates for nurses. But a lot of these things, when you have a record, type in advocates for nurses or Nurse Maggie. Her name will pop up. She would be a better person to ask about this. But to the best of my recollection, it's dependent on your specific state. Okay, because some of this has to do with a lot of this has to do with state law. Okay, the entries we talked about that research in the schools. All right, listen up, guys. Lock in. All right. Now, if you're in the process of picking a nursing program, okay, the first thing you need to do is get a list of the programs that are in your state. Sometimes I do one on ones and I talk to people and I start sharing my screen on the Zoom and I pull up a list of schools. I was like, oh, let's take a look at this one. Never heard of the school before. Okay. You got to get a list of schools. You can't pick schools when some of you guys are doing the Google search and you're clicking on the ones that are doing the ads. Don't do that. Look in your state first. Those of you that live in California, I would still encourage you to at least try to apply to one or two state schools, because what I'm finding out is that people are avoiding applying for these schools because of the impaction, and sometimes there's some sort of release or relief there from the impaction and people still get in, right? So at least attempt to apply. This is for people in California. Okay. So first you get your list of schools. After you get your list of schools, you need to narrow it down by radius. You need to say to yourself, remember we talked about the self assessment? How far are you willing to drive? Okay. When you talk about how far you're willing to drive, you need to keep in mind clinicals. If you're an hour away from school, remember the school's an hour away. They can send you an hour away from where the school is. It's 2 hours. How you gonna get there? Okay. Other things you need to take into consideration if you're doing an online program. A lot of these online programs that are technically hybrid, where you do the didactic, the lecture, the class online, and then you have to go somewhere else to do the clinicals. A lot of these things you have to fly out of state. How are you going to get there? Right? These are things you need to be reviewing with your family dynamic, with your job, the extra money that it's going to take for lodging, etc. These sort of things, okay, when you're doing your research. Now, after you get your list of schools and you narrow it down by radius, now you need to narrow it down by approval, accreditation, and NCLEX passage rates. Now, first thing you need to make sure is that the school has Board of Nursing approval. Why do we need to do this? Because a school that doesn't have nursing approval or by their state board of nursing is not a nursing school. Makes sense, right? Okay. The next thing you need to do is make sure that the school is accrediting. All right, let's take a pause right here. There are three different types of accreditation for our purposes. So that's future nurses, right? The first type is regional, the second type is national, the third type is programmatic. Okay. From me to you, and this may change because of the administration, because there's people with that run schools that have the national accreditation that want to get federal funds. But as of right now, your best bet is to go to a regionally accredited school, right? The reason why I'm telling you to do that, because regional accredited school means the credits can transfer and follow you from school to school, from degree to degree. A lot of jobs want nurses that went to regionally accredited schools. And this, as of today, regional accredited schools are approved to receive federal financial aid dollars, so you can use it to pay for the program. Okay. National credit, 85% of the schools in the United States are regional accreditation and 15 are national. If you think of a lot of programs like CMA programs and other sonographer programs, the reason why those students that they end up in the beginning, they take some of the same classes you take, like the human anatomy and stuff like that. The reason why they have to usually repeat the classes because of the national accreditation, right? Then you have your programmatic accreditation. So your programmatic accreditation is an extra sprinkling that the school went out and did, or extra covering the school went out and received to affirm to the nation, like, hey, this school is operating on par with the national standard of other nationally recognized nursing programs. All right. The programmatic, I'm here to inform you that it may not limit you as much as the regional versus the national, but there may become a point in time where certain jobs want to see that programmatic accreditation. And then when you go on from one degree to the next, certain schools want to see that programmatic accreditation associated with your degree. And if it doesn't have it, you may have to repeat courses and things of that nature. Okay, makes sense. Um, where do I look for accreditation type? You go to the website, ACN and CCNE. They'll have it listed on your website, but you need to do a reverse search to make sure that the actual accredited body has those schools listing. Okay. Next, is there ASN or BSN school? Is this for? It's for both. This doesn't necessarily apply to LPNs because they use often use a different accrediting body. Some of them use ABHE or something like that. Go to trade school so you don't have to take prereqs. This is true in certain instances. This is true in certain instances. Okay. All right. Next things next. How to stand out on the application. Oh, I forgot to mention one specific resource here for the SENTs. I knew I had to come back to something here. Where is it? Hold on a second. Okay, so this is another resource that I really like for SCNTs. This is from Remar Nursing. Quick facts for this one says NCLEX. Oh, I tagged the wrong thing. It should be for SCNTs. My bad, y'all. My bad. Hmm. Is it sold out? It might be sold out. I think it may be sold out, y'all. I don't see it. But if you go to our page, it should be there. This is for MedSurge. It may be sold out. But this is a good one if you're planning on taking like the HESI or the T's or anything like that to really go over the material. Okay. So definitely check that one out. All right. Other things, how to stand out on the application. Speak another language, been in the military, have previous work experience, have previous healthcare experience, mission work, doing community service, research, having a good T score or entrance exam, and having a solid GPA. These are some ways for you to stand out on your application. The application process, this means you need to be aware of when things due. For example, if you're applying to one of those direct entry master's program that I mentioned earlier, I believe it's either Emory or John Hopkins. They explicitly state if our, say for example, the admissions deadline is July 30th, they explicitly state like, hey, if we get a bunch of applications that are like really good and we review all of the ones that we have by July 1st or July 15th, we are going to go by that and close the application process. So you need to get your things in on time. All right. Also, please note that with the prerequisites, sometimes in certain instances you can submit your application with pending prerequisites and then update the transcript later. Um, do not assume that every place does this. You need to make sure that you review this with the school. Okay. All right. Is this for ABS? Okay, I spoke on that already. Okay, so I think I answered all of those. All right. Next one is interviews. Some of these programs require interviews. A lot of the competitive ABSN programs require interviews. A lot of the, I think almost all of the direct entry master's programs require interviews. Hello, IFE uniforms. How you doing? Okay. So you need to prepare for the interviews. One of the best ways to prepare for the interviews is to research the school, is to talk to people that went to the school. Okay. So that's really important. Next, budget. We talked about that earlier when we talked about self assessment. How are you going to pay for it? And that's even more important now than it was before. Why? Major changes are coming to the way that student loans are going to be dispersed. And I think part of, if you ask certain people within the administration, they'll tell you, well, if they cap the loans and the school need people to matriculate, the schools are going to have to lower their prices in order to get people to come. Because if people can't afford to go to school, then how are they going to make, how the school's going to make money, period. Right. I think that's what they're thinking, but I don't know. Guys, The best piece of advice that I can give you right now when it comes to paying for school is making sure that you're exhausting all of your options. These options include, but they're not limited to, seeing if your job can pay for it, finding a cheaper program, looking into scholarships. Go and follow Scholarship College Mama. She has a newsletter where she puts out scholarships every month. Scholarships is a numbers game. You can't just apply to like 5, 6, 10 scholarships. You have to get up there in the hundreds, right? Exhausting these opportunities at your job. If you work in places that have a strong union like New York, 1199, they pay for a lot of programs, all right? If you're looking to go back to school, you got to figure out the money part too. And the money part also includes the loss of income, right? Some of you guys will not be able to work or work as much because school is happening during those hours. Okay. So you also need to account for other things that you need to purchase or, you're going to be financially responsible for during this time, right? Books, reviews, apps, paying for different tests, commuting to these different clinical sites, time off from work, having somebody watch your kids so you can study even though you're still home, these sort of things. All right. So please, please, I'm begging you, pay attention to these unanticipated costs and the cost of school. And one other thing, these private or for-profit universities have become very popular. And I'm not taking a dig at anybody, right? But they have become very popular because of the ease of entry. And before people were able to navigate in these spaces or navigate within these programs because they would get the federal financial aid money. The cap for the bachelor is going to be 50 grand. Chamberlain for a bachelor's degree is $100,000. So are you going to go to the school and then make up the other $50,000 in private student loan money, where it's probably 19 or 25% interest rate? Yeah, you have to give consideration to these things. Okay. All right. Went to do nursing school, but I have to work 30 hours a week. Any recommendations? Can you find a part-time program? Is there a hybrid available in your state? I'm trying to do ASN first and BSN. What do you think? Is that a good advice? I need to know more about you before you do that. I can't answer. Off bat, I would say doing an ASN program, if you can get into one, specifically at a community college, go for that one because it's cheaper, more robust, but it takes 2 years. They're very competitive, right? So we'd have to have a deeper conversation. Evaluating your support system. Listen to me, and whoever ear this word needs to fall on, please take heed. If you are a young person, specifically a woman, and you're in a relationship with someone right now, and they're giving you a hard time through preparing for the entrance exam, preparing for the prerequisites, just not supportive. Go ahead. If you're married, that's a different situation. But if it's just a relationship, especially if you're young, you know, just go ahead and lay them off. Pink slip. All right. There are many a nurse or many of people who should have became nurses and are not because a man provided many obstacles for them. All right. Nursing school is very draining mentally and physically. You need to make sure that the people that you have in your corner are people that are going to pour into you. It's going to drain a lot out of you. Because remember, now you're doing nursing, you still have regular life. And where we are right now in regular life is exhausting. There's always something new to consider, to be aware of, to keep track of. I try to do my best to keep up on things and, inform you guys so you can move accordingly. But I'm telling you, please, please, please. I mean, if you're at the library right now going through these prerequisites and, he can't even bring you a Chick-fil-A sandwich on a Saturday while you're there, you need to move accordingly, sister. All right. All right. I just completed my prerequisites. You need help with the T's. This is my recommendation right here for the T's. I like Mometrics. So check them out. Very, very good. And then I also told you that there's a link in my bio. Crush the entrance exam. Download it. Lots of resources in there. All right. Planning ahead. Is anybody in here about to start nursing school? So maybe you're done with the prerequisites and you're going to be starting in August. Well, shit, it's August right now. You're going to be starting now. Put the number 6 in the comments. If you're about to be starting nursing school soon, put the number 6 in the comments. Put the number 6 in the comments if you're about to start nursing school soon. My husband is a hemiplegic. I can't talk. And he's giving a tough time, and I hate to lay him off because I mean, I did say marriage is a little bit different because a layoff means divorce, and divorce can be very expensive and tumultuous. But I do think that you're going to have to, when you're doing your self assessment, I don't know if you're still in that phase, you're going to have to give consideration to different options that you're willing to explore. Okay. That's all I'm going to say about that. I'm not going to tell you to break up your marriage, but that's a decision you have to make. I start the ABSN in a month. All right. Sincerely knew me. I'm talking to you. All my people with the sixes, I'm talking to you. All right. Boom. Check it. This is what I want you guys to do. This is what I want you guys to do. Ooh, hold on. Why is it not? I think you get an extra 15% off. Start learning dosage calculations. Dosage calculation, dosage calculation, dosage calculation. If you are about to start nursing school in the next month, before you start, go to school. Dosage calculation. Dosage calculation. Guys, I might tell a joke. If you want to get ahead in nursing school, the first thing you need to get comfortable with is dosage calculation. The reason why I tell people to do this is the following. Most people struggle with math. When you get into nursing school, nursing math is something that people typically struggle with. When you get into nursing school, it's math, but it's a different type of math. So now that's double, double whammy if you struggle with math before. You didn't like math before, and now they tell you to do the math a whole different type of way. Okay? So those are the first two things. Next, a lot of people are going to be in programs. I don't know if you are, sincerely knew me, where if you do not pass dosage calculation, you cannot continue in the program. And this usually comes up in the very first semester. That means first semester, you're out of the game. Okay. The other thing is when you learn the math before you get there, you're walking into the program with some confidence. That's going to affect your overall performance because it's going to make other things easier for you. And the other thing that it's going to do for you, it's going to allow you to use that energy that you would have to exert to get comfortable with the dosage calculation. You can put it into something else. Okay. Now, part two for my overachievers, when you get to the parts where they're talking about the actual medication. So let's switch to a page where she's talking about some medication. Okay. So this page says cloxacin and Cephalexin or Keflex, right? Go and look up the medication. This is a little side mission for you, right? You don't have to. My main aim of telling you to do this is to get good with the math. But a side mission would be to look up the medications. And you're just going to do a cursory search. Don't use AI. Do like a little mini search on it. You're going to look up if the medication has more than one name. You're going to look up how the medication works. You're going to look up what the medication is used for and the side effects. Just a quick cursory search. You don't got to write it down. If you feel like it, fine, whatever. Quick cursory search. Why am I telling you to do this? So this way, when you get into the program, you may not remember everything that you looked up, okay? But at least it's not the first time you're hearing about it. And if you can remember at least 20% of the things that you looked up, even the name, even the category, even one of the side effects, I promise you it will help you on one or two questions at some point throughout the program. Okay? So planning ahead, when you're ready to start school, go ahead, start practicing dosage calculation, okay? And start looking up the medication. Other things that I would tell you to do if you're going to start, once you get access to the back end, like I think the technology is called Blackboard, but your school may call it something different. Download all of those things in the back end. I'm talking about your course calendar and the syllabus. Print them out. I know everything is, computer, iPad, all of that other stuff. Print it out, keep it in one folder. You don't got to print out all the PowerPoints and stuff like that, but print out those two things. Go through the syllabus, all right, where it says learning objectives. Read through those learning objectives a couple of times, at least 6 or 7 times. Why am I telling you to do that? Because when you begin the reading, you'll remember the buzzwords in the learning objectives and you'll be able to hone in on them. That's where the questions come from. Okay? All right. What's the link to the dosage calculation book? Let me see. Over on IG, how can you get to it? I'm gonna update the link over on IG for you guys because I think the link that I have now just takes you to. Let me look at it. I think it only takes you to. Hold on. Let me see. I think it only takes you to the chart like a boss book, and it needs to take you to the whole storefront. I think she has it on Jeff Bezos' website. I think it may be on there. If it's not, then you'd have to go to my TikTok. You follow me on TikTok, BB? Because all my TikTok is there. All right. Additional concepts for getting ahead. I also started learning AdPy and lab values. I think that's good. Knowing what the lab values are evaluating is more important than the actual number because I believe on the NCLEX they give it to you now. If you're looking for strategy, this is one book that I recommend. You got to get it from their direct website. I don't think it's on the Zon. This one. This is from Pure Nursing Review. You know what? I'm going to reach out to them and see if they can put it on TikTok. This book right here is a game changer. This one right here, best $23 you ever spent. This one right here. I'm telling you. I might tell you a joke. It's not located on here. You'd have to go to purenursingreview.com to get it. But this one right here goes over strategy. And thank you for leaving that comment there, Haley. A couple of things that you need to work on in the very beginning of your nursing journey when you get to nursing school is test taking strategy. Test taking strategy. How to break down the questions, how to get to which one is the most right answer. Okay. All right. So at this time, okay, great, Christina. Fantastic. At this time, we are all finished. If you have any additional questions, you can go ahead and put them down in the comments. Okay. And let me know if it's a much longer question. Maybe we need to speak one-on-one. Maybe you need to send me an email. If you're just joining, welcome. My name is Larissa. I'm your favorite night nurse on this side of TikTok. And today we completed our free training as far as applying to nursing school is concerned. So that's what we just did. Test taking strategy is extremely important. Extremely important. It'll save you a lot of heartache. Test taking strategy is really good for when you're especially those of you that are in an accelerated program. You got to get the test taking strategy done. There is simply just not enough time to do all of the readings and learn all of the things. So you need some sort of mechanism to comb through or get through the information and the questions more efficiently. Okay. How do you conduct one-on-one counseling? Is it best to contact you through email? You can click the link inside of my bio. I think both of you guys have the same question. So if you want to talk to me one-on-one, so that would be BB and that's Ariana. Ariana, what are you doing here? Classic. Oh, Nikki gosh, what could have been? So what you're gonna do? You see my face? Oh, what's that? Somebody? Oh, one of you guys already messaged me. So you see my inside of my Instagram. I'm gonna do one different for you. So for TikTok, you're gonna click on the Sandstore link here. Boom. You're gonna click on the first one, and then you're gonna go down to schedule one-on-one. So it's the orange square. Okay, I believe that's the fourth one down. For my folks on IG, same thing. You're gonna go to the links there in my bio, and then you're gonna scroll down to where it says get help. So where it says get help, that first link, that's the one that you guys are gonna click. Okay. So there is that. Okay. Will we be able to watch this video again? I'm at work and I keep getting interrupted, so I missed a lot. I'm so sorry. I don't know how to save it on live. I think it may allow me to do it. I'll keep it up for a week, but I think I should be able to. I don't know. If I figure it out, honey, I'll leave it up there and you can go find it. Okay. You'll see it when you come back to my page. All right. You're very welcome, sister. All right. If I missed anything, if I missed your comment, put it down in the comments here for me. I'll go over it again. I'm trying my best to ramp up the YouTube videos, but they're real strict on YouTube. You got to get the camera right, you got to do this right. It is a lot. And as some of you may know, if you followed me before, I work as a nurse practitioner. I do social media as well, and I also run my own property management company. And it is I'm getting a lot of I have a lot of move outs and move ins because it's flu season. This the not flu season. It's not flu season yet, but hospitals are stocking up on travel nurses and other travel nurse professionals preparing for flu season. So I have been busy. Oh, that one girl didn't pay her rent. I need to send her an email. So there is that. All right. So should I apply to a community college first or take a TEAS test? Okay. So, in order to get into a majority of nursing programs, you have to, and for your application to be considered complete, if they require an entrance exam and it happens to be TEAS, you have to take that first. The reason why I hesitated at your question, because when you say apply to a community college, are you talking about the prerequisites? There's different things that go into it, right? You got to find a school that you're interested in to get it, as far as a nursing program. You have to look at the desired requirements. Do they require TEAS versus HESI, right? What are the prerequisites? Not all schools have the same prerequisites. Some require more, some require less. So you got to look at that. Is your IG the same as the TikTok? Yes. Now it should be. So it should be Night Nurse 305 TV. So it should be the same. So you have to look at those sort of things. All right. Do you have any tips for ABSN students? Oh, do I? All right. First things first, with ABSN students, you guys have to be as hyper organized as you possibly can. There is little room for you to slip, because if you slip, you slide right out of that program. What I would encourage ABSN students to do is see if you can make a network with people that were previously in the program and see if you can get as many resources as possible instead of curating your own, and work from there like a database. So whatever review guides they have, if the teacher went over the tests and they went over anything you can find, that's what I would do. Keep organized. You need to keep a calendar. You need to keep a planner. You need to be aware of when everything is due. I would suggest that you get the following two books. This one here for test taking strategy, because you especially got to get this down in the beginning because the program moves so fast. And there's another book. It's linked inside of my Amazon. It is the Comprehensive NCLEX Review by Saunders. I believe the newest edition is purple. Okay. If you want, you guys can join the library. I just updated the library. So, guys, for those of you guys that are in the library now has nursing school in a box in there. So that was my masterclass for nursing students, where it goes over all of the different core classes. It has all of the care plan stuff in there. It has some ATI reviews for those of you that need to take exit exams. There's several textbooks in there. There's a bunch of stuff in there. Tomorrow, I think I did a Zoom that walks you through the whole thing, because if you're in the library, there's a lot of stuff on that Google Drive. It could be a little overwhelming. So I did a new video on how to navigate through it. I will be posting it tomorrow. So if you're interested in joining the library, it is the second link in my bio. Okay, so definitely go ahead and check it out. I think I have some, there's some, lots of practice questions in there. I think a couple of people said that they've seen the same questions inside of their program as well. So definitely go ahead and check that out. You need help with the T's? Get more metrics, sister. That's the best advice I can give you. And the second piece of advice that I can give you, get this book, go to the link in my bio and download the where it says crush the entrance exam. Get that. Has all the resources and other people that you should follow in there. I went ahead and I took it just to see what I need to work on, and you surprisingly passed. That could happen too. That could happen too. And you know what? I think that's a good mindset, because some of you guys are not doing as bad as you think. You're operating off of other people's existing anxieties. I applied to the RN program at community college and they require HESI A2. Okay, good. You pass the HESI, start LPN next month, go over the, and what's that thing called? Dosage calculation. I just finished my GED, so I'm kind of new. Thank you. Okay, no problem. So that's fine. You just have to kind of like explain where you're coming from. So if you just finished your GED, your next step would be looking at a community college, right? Well, let me back it up. Your next step would be gathering a list of nursing programs that you would like to get into, right? I would start with your local community college. Once you go there, you're going to go to the people over in the nursing department and they're going to give you what you need, all right, or the information you need to help determine how to get in. So that would be the whether they do T's or HESI or the desired prerequisites. You could also go on the website. If you can go to the actual school, I always recommend that. Let people know your name. Let people see your face. These things make a difference. All right. Let me see here. I passed the HESI and you start next month. All right, fantastico. Okay, good. All right. And if you have any questions, you can put them down in the comments. We're here. We're kind of on 3 platforms. So I'm trying to keep up with everybody's comments. So if I missed it, don't beat me up. All right. I just ordered the Tees book. Thank you. All right, good. If I'm planning to start accelerated BSN in the spring, do you recommend taking some GE courses? Okay, when you say you plan, you're inside the program already, or you're going to apply? What are you talking about? And when you say GE courses, what do you mean by that? Like general education courses that would count towards the prerequisites needed to get into the program? You got to be a little bit more specific. To get ahead and reduce the cost. If you're applying to a private school and you can transfer in as many credits as possible from like a public school or something like Sophia Learning or something like that, that would be ideal. But those people that are designed to do that to cut costs, you need to be aware that you may transfer in so many credits that you do not meet the full-time requirement threshold in order to qualify for student loans. So it's a catch 22 at certain points when you do this sort of thing. Okay. Please, in our first 2 weeks is fundamentals. What should we expect in terms of quizzes? Inside of the library, when you join, I have that all laid out for fundamentals. That's one part of the library that I think everybody really appreciates is the help with the fundamentals because it gives you the background and it has a bunch of review guides in there, actually broken down by how they usually do the tests, depending on how they set up fundamentals. So definitely go check it out. And then there was a book. Let me see. This one I recommend for fundamentals. Let me see if I find it. I have it here. This one. Oh, it's already here. What am I doing? Let me go back. Okay, here we go. Whoopsie daisy. Okay. This book I like for fundamentals. Now, keep in mind when I made the video about this book for fundamentals, this book is a guide. It's not all encompassing, right? You kind of have to go by where what your teacher, your professor is covering. But this, I think, helps narrow your scope to know the things that you need to hone in on. And then you would go back to your assigned reading and read a little bit before and a little bit after. But if you're looking to kind of get ahead in fundamentals, find out what to focus on fundamentals, I think this is a good starting point. The library is located in the link in my bio. So you would click on the Stand Store link in my bio, and then it is the second link where it says Join Library. Okay. And remember, for those of you that haven't been in the library before, the library now has nursing school in a box. So everything that you would need to know when it comes to nursing school is now inside of there. Okay. And that's usually I for those of you that are in the library, I haven't been in there consistently for a little bit, but that is about to change because I'm realizing there's certain things that I have to say directly to you, and I'm not going to be able to put on Instagram and TikTok. It's just the nature of what's going on. All right. So make sure you guys stay tuned and you're keeping up. Also, if anybody in here lives in New York State, and would like to work, you're looking for a job, guys. Did you see that labor report that came out the other day? They're laying off nurses at Kaiser Permanente. All right. I have a good friend that sent me some openings for jobs for ACS. Okay. If you live in New York and you're looking for a job, send me an email. Please respond to the email that I sent out. I'll send it out again. I believe I think it's up to the 5th or the 9th or something like that, but it's next. This is for next week. This is time sensitive. So you can send me an email, you can send me a DM, you can respond to the post again inside of the library. Send me your resume. I'll look it over for you as well. But I think it's really important that, I need y'all to get these jobs and keep these jobs. These people ain't playing, y'all. They are not playing. All right. Be mindful. Diversify your income. Okay. Up your skills. I was supposed to make that video today, but I got turned around. If I was at, how many people right now are about to start working as a nurse? Anybody in here start working as a nurse, currently working as a nurse, or working in a hospital or in a healthcare environment in general? Anybody in here with the number 7? This is what I would be doing right now. You see, I made that other video where I told people to diversify their income. People getting laid off, jobs report came out. This is what I would be doing. And I'm going to tell you what are the things I'm going to put in the video. The first thing that I would be, do I enjoy being a nurse? For the most part. I enjoy being a nurse now because I don't have to work bedside every day. So it makes it the dynamic different for me. I choose to work when I want to work. And that makes it a whole lot different. Did I enjoy being a nurse when I was a nurse? Yeah. But I also got burnt out. Okay. School setting. Okay. This is what I would be doing right now if I was a nurse or anybody in general. I would get a notebook, right? Get a notebook. You're going to write down all of your hard and soft skills, everything you can think of. So, from putting in an IV to taking care of a critical care patient, all the different things that are involved. If you work in critical care, you work as a school nurse, all the different things involved with you doing actual nursing skills. Those are your hard skills. You're going to make a list of all of the soft skills. So your soft skills would include things like your ability to teach and precept and communicate. And if you're able to, if you're the one that they call when the patients are acting up on the unit, and you have that gift of the gab to calm them down. Okay, all of the hard, all of the soft skills. The next thing that I would make a list of is all the things that I would like to do if I was getting paid to work, right? So this goes from, if you want to do NP versus CRNA, write it down. Type of NP, right? If you wanted to go travel nursing, if you wanted to open up your own bakery, write down all the things that you would like to do, all right, to get paid to do for work. The next list that you're going to make, that's why I tell you get a notebook, because each page should be filled. So one page hard and soft skills, one page hard skills, one page soft skills, right? Next page, things that you would like to do that are aligned with what you're doing now. So nursing, things that you would like to do if you weren't a nurse, right? The next thing you're going to write down is your network, right? Who do you know in real life that has pivoted from where you are right now, or you see them doing something that you may have some interest in, or they're making money? Make that list. Make a list for people you know in real life. Make a list of people that you come across on the internet. So you scroll, right? You don't just follow them. You write down their username so you can go back, because sometimes, like me, you can DM me. People DM me all the time, and I answer these questions. Sometimes it's a quick one-off. Hey, what do you think about this? Forgive the grammatical errors. I send most of them with voice note. If I were to type out each person that DM me, I would never answer y'all. So if I got one or two grammatical errors in there, girl, it's the iPhone. All right. But make a list of these people. And I'm talking about things that you have interest in, right? If you see somebody that's making content and they are a nurse, reach out to them, talk to them. If you see somebody, and maybe you wanted to start your own YouTube channel and it was related to something unrelated to nursing, write these things down, right? If you've seen somebody become a midwife or something like that, make a list of all the people. That's your network. Okay. Then the next thing that I want you guys to do is your next list is going to come from the following. You're going to go on your schools, your job's internet or intranet, because some of the things that I'm going to talk about you can only access it if you're on the internet, which means you're on campus. You're going to go on that intranet, and you're going to make a list of all the things that the organization offers. I think we're safe. I'm going to say it. You guys need to start extracting as much as you can from these organizations. You, you if you feel what I'm putting down, if you're picking up what I'm putting down, put the number 8 in the comments. Do you understand what I'm saying? You need to get on that intranet, whatever they have up there that you can benefit from. I'm talking, will they pay for any certifications? Do they have tuition reimbursement? Do they give money back for whatever it is? Go on to that intranet. Sit down, or maybe you work on a weekend and it's a slower day. Comb through it. If you know somebody down in HR that knows about everything, if you're the nurse who's been there, and sometimes you work in certain places, some people just know how the system works and they know how to navigate it. You guys need to be extracting as many benefits that were promised to you when you got hired from the organization. I'm going to say another thing that probably I should keep in the library or in the email, but I'm going to say it now and pray for the best. You guys need to start diversifying your income. That doesn't mean everybody needs to, you don't need to work 46 hours, 80 hours a week or whatever it is. But for example, this is what I mean by that. If you do overtime, find a new place to do the overtime. Don't do all of the overtime in one place. Don't put all your eggs in one basket, right? If you have a per diem, let it be somewhere different. Look, working on the apps. Maybe you do some school nursing. Maybe you do some addiction medicine. They're always hiring over there. But you need to diversify the different places you're making money. Why am I telling you to do this? Because anything can go wrong at one hospital. The other reason why I'm telling you this is a lot of nurses don't like to speak up when things are going down, when they're being mistreated. What gives you a voice is choice. Does that make sense? Right? So you speaking up could be, you know what? I got this other gig over here. And you go ahead and dip. Or what you do, you just pull back on your time. Because a lot of these hospitals are these organizations, we are in a position where we need to put the organizations in a position where they are advocating for us as citizens. And we can't do that when they know that we are relying on them. So what you need to do is diversify your reliance on multiple in multiple different work settings, for example. So that standing on business looks like, okay, because a lot of these hospitals rely on you doing overtime. If you pull back that labor that you're giving to them, they're going to have to make a change. They're going to have to do something. Does that make sense? What I'm saying? I know it sounds like a little roundabout and stuff like that, but I need y'all to hear what I'm saying, because some of you guys are in situations where you're being mistreated just by the sheer fact of them not going out of the way to make sure that the place is being staffed. And what they're going to do, they're going to run you to the ground. Other things nurses need to stop doing: stop making everything work and fit. Right? The bed's broke. You're not bioengineering, babe. Leave it alone. Let them come and fix it. Stop giving away free labor inside of that. Go and do what you're supposed to do for your patient and under your scope of practice. Stop doing too much. You hear what I'm saying? We have to take a stand, not just for healthcare, but in general. Hey, Tiffany, how are you? In general. And I think the real change in healthcare is going to come when nurses realize that they are the ones propping up the healthcare system. No hospital in America can stay open if all the nurses walk out. If all the doctors walk out, probably could still do certain things, right? May not be able to do surgery or anything like that, but you can run other things because MPs exist, right? PAs exist. Standing orders exist, right? But if every nurse in one given hospital say, you know what, one band, one sound, we're out of there, that's the end of that. And I think what happens is nurses don't realize how much power they have, right? We're too scared. That's why I told you, if you do that exercise, it takes your mind on a specific, it makes your mind do a very specific exercise where you begin to realize, oh well, I have a lot of options, right? When you connect with certain people, you see them doing certain things, like, okay, I can make these decisions. You see what I'm saying? And the last part is the financial literacy part. We got to get the financial literacy up. You should not be a nurse making good wages with bad credit. Fix the credit. Start investing on a basic level. You don't got to go do day trading or anything like that. Automate those savings, automate that investing. Right? A lot of nurses are in good positions compared to the rest of the population because, even in places, Florida, people always beefing with Florida. I think the average rate there is probably like 60 or 70,000. That's pretty good. It may not be enough to live in a place like Miami or something like that, right? But it's still good compared to what the median other people make. All right, maybe a little bit less, but it's more than 40 racks. I know nurses making more than 40 racks. All right, so I hope you guys picked up what I was trying to put down. I'll be a little bit more blunt inside of the library. Someone said they can't find the library. You're gonna go to the link in my bio. Boom. You're gonna click on the first link, and then it's the second one, the green one, or shucking green. All right. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments. You can also send me what's that thing called? A DM or an email as well. All right. All right, guys. I think we're going to wrap up here because I want to get up early in the morning and get back to walking. I don't know. Anybody watching my stories on here? Nobody? Damn. I guess I'm just talking to myself on my stories. I guess I'm just talking to myself. I be thinking I'm motivational and deep, and nobody watched them damn stories. All right, well, whatever. I'm gonna still keep doing it because listen, when you make content, it don't matter. You just got to keep doing it. Be consistent. I have all of this information on a Word doc. Thank you for the game. You're very, very welcome, sister. And you can always send me a DM as well. Okay. Especially if you're over on IG. IG. One thing about Zuckerberg, he got that right with the DM over there. TikTok, come on, girl. Why can't we send links over here? What is going on? Currently a school teacher and changing my career to nursing. At what point in the program would I need to quit? You sure you want to leave teaching for nursing, sister? Listen, before I go, I'm going to tell you, this helped a lot. Very informative. Thank you. You know what? I can't tell that I was informative because when I'm coming at the live and we only reached 3,000 likes. So I can only assume by the fact that you guys didn't tap the screen is because you guys don't like me. Yes. That's the only thing. That's the only conclusion I come to. You guys all the game that I gave and nobody tap up the screen. Lord have mercy, I'm gone. I'm going to bed. I love this live, very informative. Well, the day I don't have nothing good to say or informative to say, I'm gonna shut the hell up. All right, I'm gonna help my friend out here who's a teacher and going into nursing. This is what I would do. Depending on your level of teaching, whether you have like a master's degree versus a bachelor's, I don't know. You have more options available to you. So you could do like a direct entry master's program, where remember I told you there's two flavors to the direct entry master's. You already have a master's, okay? So you may want to look into like an accelerated program or a direct entry master's program in order to speed it up. But before I do those things, one thing that I would ask myself as far as the self-assessment is concerned is, where do I want nursing to take me? Right? You've already been a teacher for a period of time, which is great, right? They love not hiring. They love hiring people that were previously teachers, but nursing programs like to have teachers in there or second degree students because they often are focused and committed to the program. So one thing I would say, where would I want nursing to take me? And is there an opportunity for me to combine teaching with nursing? And is that something I want to do, right? Because sometimes you're in one field, you're done. You want to do something completely new. So I would start doing research on that, right? Would you want to get into nursing education? I'm gonna give you a heads up. They don't pay that good, sister. Or if you wanted to take your talents from having being an educator for that extended period of time and probably develop your own system as far as teaching is concerned, right? So is it tutoring? Would you want to start your own school? Would you want to work for like a company that does a lot of teaching, like medical sales or pharmaceutical sales rep? Sometimes they hire like a lot of educators. So even though it's a sales job, a lot of it has to do with education. Okay. So Quick advice to your question would be, where would nursing take me? Do I want to combine the old career with the new career? And then exploring direct entry master's options, because student loan may be an issue. You are, I see you. Okay, fantastic. Thank you. Um, I want to go back to school for NP. Any school recommendations? You got to do research in your state. University of Arlington, Texas. I think they have a couple NP programs and it's hybrid. That's the only one I kind of did like robust research on and I like. Some of the other ones, I'm not, I don't want to say too much on here. Why do a lot of nurses hate direct entry masters? I get so much hate for taking this route to become an RN. The reason why you're getting that hate is the following. It's about the paying the dues part. A lot of nurses are not comfortable with the paying the dues. Um, so remember I told you there's a first option that does not result in you becoming a provider. That first option gives you the opportunity to work as a direct entry, as a master's prepared nurse at the bedside or in a supervisory role like administration. Nurses in general do not like to be supervised by people that don't understand where they're coming from, meaning they do not have any bedside experience. So, what I advise a lot of people to do, or what I see some people do that take this route, whether it's the one that results in a provider or not, is once you do the first half, the accelerated portion, is to get a per diem at minimum and work at the bedside to see and get experience, right? Um, Especially when you get to the nurse practitioner. Remember, it's nurse practitioner. You would have to be a nurse first in order to do it. This new model is stating that the clinical hours is sufficient enough for a nurse practitioner to practice as a nurse. And it may be for some of the more robust programs, but it's not true for all. Furthermore, daily in your practice, you will come across situations where your understanding of the healthcare system and experience as a nurse will be one of your greatest assets. Hopefully that was a good enough explanation. Do you recommend accelerated BSN or entry level masters if you already have a first degree? I recommend that you evaluate the option that's going to be cost effective. If you already have a previous degree, if you go back and get an accelerated BSN, will you have enough um, federal financial aid left over for you to complete the program? That's how I would look at it. And then also time as well, right? If you do the direct entry master's program, where do you want that degree to take you, right? Are you doing the first option where it's just a blanket master's and you go work at the bedside until you figure it out? Or will you do the direct entry master's, it takes you into the provider role, and then if the first degree is a bachelor's, now you're moving to the next tier, which is the master's, which opens up more money. Won't get money for FAFSA with ABSN. All right, so your options is to pay for it out of pocket, borrow private funds, or to go the other route. I had to go MSN because of financial aid. I ultimately want to be a PHNP. Okay, so yeah, you could always add on a postmaster's cert if you do the provider one. What if degree is not in sciences? How long is a direct entry master's? It takes about 2.5 years, approximately, sometimes 3. It depends on the program. You got to look at the program. All right, guys, my mouth hurts. And I know that sounded weird, but I've been talking for a little while. We're supposed to do a power hour. I think we did a power 2 hour. So I'm going to head to bed. If I missed your question, don't beat me up. Send me a DM, send me an email. All right. All right. Let's wind these down one by one. End stream.